Come on, guys.
Come here, Clyde and Bob. Come.
We gotta do a little.
Wait, I'm just gonna flip the screen around. It's over here. Make sure your head's not cut off.
Because you can see that far.
I can't see that far. Can I start?
Yeah, please. We are making some significant.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Okay, we'll say it. Take 99.
And action. Well, we've made some major progress here on our geothermal Rammed Earth year-round greenhouse that we are in the process of building.
Backfilling.
Backfilling. We're in the process of building and backfilling.
So we
Right?
we finished installing all the components for the climate battery. So did the extensions on the manifolds, got our elbows for the risers, which we ordered. So those came in, we've installed those. Installed the risers, finished drilling all the holes for the weeping tile with sock, the 4-inch holes, and then put the adapters in. I also spray foamed the adapters into the manifold just to help seal that up a little bit better, as well as hold it for when we were dumping the fill in. And then we also cut all of the weeping tile, hauled it into the greenhouse.
Yeah, and attached it to the connectors on the manifolds. Got those all straightened out and laying across lengthwise of the greenhouse floor, just above the first layer of sand that we had put down. There goes Nettie. I was like, what is jetting across the yard?
And as you can see, we're standing on a whole bunch of sand, and I think I hear the dump truck again.
Yeah.
So
We've had how many dump trucks loads of
This
sand?
is going to be load 14.
Yeah, here he comes down the driveway.
Yeah.
So after all my complaining about not having any machinery to do the moving around of the sand inside the greenhouse here, James was finally convinced to, what did you do? Borrow? Rent. Rent. It's called a bucking bronco, isn't it? It's basically like a stand-up skid steer.
This thing is super simple to operate. It has the forward and back, and you twist it to turn. As you can see down low, it's on tracks. And the tracks give you a little bit more surface area, which helps distribute the weight and can cause a little less damage to anything below it, which is what we're trying to stop from happening to our climate battery components. And then also on here, you've got your controls for the bucket. You got a up and down, and then a tilt up and tilt down. Pretty simple. And then a throttle. Really easy. More power, turn it up. Okay, let's see if I can get down there.
Wait, is the lens dirty? Yep. Well.
You want me to microfiber it?
Yeah, maybe. New truck? Who dis? James doesn't want to talk about it. We really need to get lens cleaner. The greenhouse has been backfilled almost completely, which is amazing because we can finally walk in on ground level as opposed to 6 feet under and have to crawl down ladders to get into the greenhouse. It's also awesome because I have a way better visualization of how it's going to look when it's functioning as an actual greenhouse. So where I can put my beds and stuff like that. So come on in and I'll show you. So James had 19 truckloads?
14.
14 dump trucks, huge dump truck loads of sand delivered here to the property and had it put in and spread around for the base layer. And then the rest of this fill that you're looking at right now is what we originally took out of this hole when we dug it last year. Was that a year ago? So the first layer of sand that we put in is for the climate battery, and it will be acting as a heat sink, which is another name for the GHAT system, which is the ground air heat transfer system, or climate battery, which is what we're using to heat the greenhouse in the winter and cool it down in the summer. And then, yeah, the next layer that we put down was big piles of fill that we had dug out of here originally, that we saved, obviously, and we're putting that back in. So it's all earth and it's all ground matter. So the greenhouse is going to be totally grounded, which is amazing. We won't need to run any wires or anything to get it connected to the earth. So I really think that we're going to have a great success growing in here. James is just going to keep backfilling with his little friend here, the mini skid steer, as much as we have fill. And if we need to bring in some more fill from somewhere else, we'll have to, but hopefully we won't. And then
I think that we're gonna have enough to just get to the top of that pile. So we'll see. Yeah, the top of the pile here. Not the Rammed Earth test block, but the pile itself, which is gonna be a few inches low, but we're also gonna potentially get some settlement.
yeah, that's what I was asking about, how this is all gonna sort of, I mean, we don't want to start building our garden beds or anything in here until everything's completely settled.
And we still have some construction to do.
Yeah, we have
With the roof.
A roof to put on and a few other things. So as James is backfilling in here and driving the machines, because he's doing the mini skid steer and the big one, that's compacting it. And we're due to get some rain over the next couple of days too, so that's going to help. But yeah, we're going to make sure that it's completely settled before we do anything on the ground.
Okay, do you remember when you filmed me and I went over the controls and how it works?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I remember filming it.
Do you remember what the controls do? Okay, so
This must be on and off.
that's the key. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the left hand thingy,
Yes.
that is forward and back, and if you twist it, it turns the tracks left or right, just like a joystick.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is, if you pull it to you, the bucket goes up. Oh, yeah, if you pull this to you, the bucket goes up. If you push it down, the bucket goes down.
Mm.
So start her up.
Huh? Where am I going?
Just dump the rocks out there. Okay, stop. Now to me. There you go, yeah.
So while James is finishing the backfill in the Rammed Earth Greenhouse, I am going to start planting in my timber framed glass greenhouse, as well as the small portion of my outdoor garden. It's raining today. It's a very typical British Columbia spring day, but the weather is supposed to get really, really warm next week. And although the golden rule is to wait until after the long weekend in May, I usually take the plunge a few weeks early and even up to a month early and plant things like peas, spinach, even some lettuce, arugula, things at like the cooler temperatures. So what I'm going to be doing in here is we have a big, huge pile of composted manure that we've been storing over the winter. We've got cow, horse, and then some chicken manure the chicken manure is going to need a little bit more time to percolate, but we're going to use the little mini skid steer, and we're going to get a bucket load of the cow and horse manure, and we're going to bring it in here. I'm going to leave these beds, and as well as my pepper beds, completely as is. I'm going to follow some sort of permaculture ideas in terms of not disrupting the soil. There's plenty of room in this cedar bed to add, 2 to 3 more inches of compost and not have to touch anything that's going on in here, which is essentially a perfect sort of microorganism system brewing under there. So disrupting that is not great for the soil, and therefore it's not going to be great for whatever I choose to plant in here. So the idea is to just add a big top layer to all my beds in here, as well as in my outdoor garden, and then plant directly into them. Okay, so
Don't get your feet wet.
I know. Well, I have up until the hole. So this is an area, how would you describe where this is on our property?
It's backing on the ground, and
It's kind of an unused almost acre of our property that's never actually been utilized or developed. It's just sort of wild. Um, Back here is the crown land, which we've shown you many times. But this area along here, which I just showed you, this little pond that's forming here, this is an area where the groundwater comes up pretty much every year around this time. So way in the future, plans for us, again, using sort of the permaculture ideas, is that we actually want to have a pond here. And we figured this is going to be the best place for it. There's a road underneath where the camera is, and we have to put a culvert under there so that this doesn't flood as much and it sort of spreads across and in behind towards the chicken coop. But the issue right now is, as you can see, we put big tarps down and then we put down the piles of manure to overwinter, but it's starting, this little pond here is starting to seep up into the manure. So it's not ideal because a lot of the nutrients and the goodness from the poop is now going into the water. You can literally see really dark water here, which is what I want in my garden and not in here. But I mean, these plants are going to benefit from it and all the trees here. So at least it's not going to complete waste. So James is gonna, oh, there's mushrooms growing in the poo. Cool.
Those
So-
could be psilocybin.
You think so? James thinks they might be magic mushrooms. I'm not going to try them. Anyway, we're going to get a big scoop of the oldest manure. Well, I'm sinking. The oldest manure that we have, which is the horse manure from last year, right? The horse manure. That's the closest over there.
Yeah.
It's going to be tricky. We don't want to drive the little mini skid steer down into here because we might get stuck. So
Well,
we will get stuck. Lighty, no. Fine, get out of there.
you want me to burn some more rubber?
Well, it would appear that we got stuck. Even though this was supposed to be the part where we are not supposed to get stuck. We are very stuck. What are you going to do, babe?
Grab some chains.
Okay. The manure is looking really nice and composted. It's got no smell to it. It's broken down almost completely. There's no visible signs of, you know, how horses have those sort of like big pellets. None of that left. So this is going to be great.
Okay, you're gonna either have to drive that or this. Because you need to put...
That.
You want to drive this?
No, the
This?
red one.
Okay. All you have to do is pull back. I'm just gonna go slow, but if it's just dragging it.
Okay.
So I need you to put it in reverse.
Okay.
Okay? So I can load dirt still.
Right. Okay, so do you want me to empty this? What do you want me to do?
You want me to empty it?
No.
I could.
Where are you gonna empty it?
Well, you were gonna shovel it into the wheelbarrow, or you want me to shovel it in the wheelbarrow?
Oh. I was gonna leave this here and then just take it. Oh, that's why I said something that you're not gonna be using for a bit.
Yeah, but the wheelbarrow is gonna make it easier.
But then you have to shovel it twice.
Okay. How are you gonna do it?
I'm gonna get a big shovel and I'm gonna scoop it and put it on the bed. I already saw it.
I didn't shovel it out.
Where was it from originally?
The clay?
Yeah.
Just from all these fill piles. It's not gonna hurt anything.
Yeah, okay. As you can see, Jojo is trying to bury this moose skull that I found on Easter weekend when we were out in the bush doing our Easter egg hunt. I originally had this drawing, sorry about the background, but I originally had this drawing in the outside garden because it's still a bit, like it's not completely finished decomposing, I guess you could say. And Jojo decided that this was her thing, so yeah, she's back. I put it in the greenhouse to keep her out of it because she gets very protective of these types of things. She finds bones in the bush or whatever. So yeah, she's back burying it, thinking that it's hers. Jojo, that's mommy's. It's mommy's skull. I know, you're really good at burying with your nose. I think she's over it. Good girl, Jojo.
Jojo.